Okay, day 23. Can you believe it? Section 7.3. Here we go. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is creating similar triangles. Just like when we did congruency, we had to prove all the angles were congruent and all the sides were congruent. And then we had shortcuts to that. We had angle, side, angle. We had angle, angle. Same idea here for similarity. Instead of doing what we did yesterday, proving all the angles are congruent and all the sides are proportional, we have some theorems and postulates that are going to shorten that up, and they're really not that different. So postulate 7.1 is angle, angle, meaning instead of showing that all three angles in each triangle are congruent, we only have to show that two angles are congruent to two corresponding angles in the other triangle. So if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, then the triangles are similar. So S and M are congruent, R and L. We do not have to show T and P. That would be a waste of time. These are meant to be shortcuts. Therefore, we can say triangle SRT is similar to triangle SLP. The thing about angle angle is we have to rely on a lot of old properties if they're not giving to us like above, where we had the congruency symbols. So for here, no secret, angle R is congruent to angle R. And then we have vertical angles here. So angle WSR is congruent to angle VSB. And check, that is angle angle similarity. So my check mark there is me just saying yes. So yes, they're similar because of angle angle similarity. Doesn't ask for a similarity statement, but it could. All right, L and R. And well, not J and Q, but maybe K is 85, maybe P is 30. You choose which one you want to expose. I feel like I have more room to work over here. So 180 minus 85 minus 70. We have 25 degrees. I'm just going to double check that. 180 minus 85 minus 70. Yeah, it's 25. We wanted it to be 30. Not similar. Angle B is congruent to angle D. And I'm going to try and expose angle C here, which is 180 minus 90, which is 90, minus 39, which is 51 degrees. That time we got it. Angle C is congruent to angle F. So check, yes, they are similar because of angle angle similarity. Theorem 7.1, side angle side similarity. If an angle of one triangle is congruent to an angle of a second triangle, and the sides that include the two angles, we want them to be proportional. So let me read that again for you. If an angle of one triangle is congruent to an angle of a second triangle, and the sides that include the two angles are proportional, then the triangles are similar. So this is really condensing what we did yesterday and saying we don't need to show that all the angles are congruent. In fact, let's just show that one of them is congruent. And then the sides that are going to include those angles, which means comes out of those angles. So AC is going to go with QS, and AB is going to go with QR. If those sides are proportional, then triangle BAC is similar to triangle RQS. Side, angle, side. Notice how the angle is sandwiched between the two sides. The sides have to come out of that angle for it to be side, angle, side. Remember when we did triangle congruency, those sides had to be equal. They didn't have to be proportional. Now we're allowing the size to change as long as it changes in a proportional way. And side, side, side is basically what we did yesterday without any recognition of angles. If we can just show that all the sides have grown proportionally, then the triangles are similar. So if the corresponding sides of two triangles are proportional, then the triangles are similar. So essentially it's what we did right here, but we're going to have a third ratio on there. So we'll have an extended ratio, extended proportion. So AB and QR, AC and QS, and BC and RS. If all three of those ratios are equal, remember they will all simplify down to the scale factor, then we have similar triangles. So if we look at this, I always go for the longer one first. So 10 over 15. Six over 9. And 8 over 12. If I simplify those all down, we have 2 over 3 equals 2 over 3, which is check, side, 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 similarity. And now it says write a similarity statement. So I'm going to go UTS is similar to triangle WVX. All right, we have the longest one here. We have 9 over 12 And we're hoping that's equal to 6 over 8 and 6 over 8. So this is 3 over 4, so 3/4, 3/4, 3/4. Don't assume that it's going to work out. Triangle ABC. Don't always assume it's going to be in alphabetical order over here as well. So the long side, I'm going to put that with F, E, G. All right, indirect measurements can be used to find measurements that are difficult to measure directly. Maybe they're too high, maybe it's an impassable area. We just have to find some type of geometric structure that can be placed over top of this. Now, we did this for triangle congruency, but we had congruent triangles. Now, these triangles are not congruent, which is why it's indirect measurement, mainly of a scaled up version of something that we can measure. So before rock climbing, Darius wants to know how high he will climb. He places a mirror on the ground and walks backward until he can see the top of the cliff in the mirror. What is the height of the cliff? So before we can go ahead and say that anything is able to be done mathematically, I have a right angle and a right angle. I also have the reflection coming down into the mirror and reflecting off the mirror. So basically the light reflection there, the sight reflection, the angle that it approaches the mirror and the angle that it reflects off the mirror are congruent angles. So angle HVT is congruent to angle, what's up there, JVS. So check angle similarity. And the reason that we do that is now, since we know that they are similar triangles, we are allowed to create a proportion. Because now we know all sides are proportional. Before we used to say like CP/CTC. Now that we know that the triangles are congruent, we have corresponding parts that are congruent. Now we can say, now that we know that the triangles are similar, we know that the sides are proportional. Meaning 6 relates to 34 the same way as 5.5 relates to x. You could set that up several ways. 6x 34 times 5.5, 187. X equals 31.7 roughly. All right, there's your homework right there. Make sure that you guys are asking me any questions. Take the homework quiz. You have some time to take that. Remember, Friday is that pause day. You won't get anything new from me. Not an exit ticket, not a homework quiz, not a video, no instruction. So if you want to take that homework quiz at the end of Friday and take advantage of office hours on Friday or on Thursday, that is up to you. Just make sure you guys are ready on Monday to start the next section. All right, have a good